Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and welcome to another episode of Transfer Market Metrics by Anfield Index. Number 19, this is the same number of titles we have currently, but we know this will be changing, and we'll be profiling more targets. And we've got a bit of a mix for you, different positions, different countries, different profiles, definitely tonight. It leaves me as ever to welcome the normal resident Barts, who's got the numbers, the analytics, and we'll walk through these as we do systematically, step by step. But just to give it a bit of pinch of excitement, Bart, these three that I've given you, without naming names, do any of these excite you?
Yeah, I mean, similar to the regular listeners to the show, one of the other ones who are low data about, but you kind of see little bits in there, and that's kind of exciting. And yeah, we were just talking about point. It's all very well got. We all want a big signing, but sometimes, from my head, I love it when we go and uncover something and it costs us a little bit of money. And I think a couple of these might tick that box.
Well, we best get into it straight away. And to be honest, we best start with a player that doesn't cover any of that description that Barts has just got, but a player we know that Liverpool are liking, Liam Delap. So it's an interesting one with Liam Delap, Barts. There's a lot of interest from a lot of Premier League clubs, and our info at Anfield Index from digging around is Chelsea especially like the player, but Liverpool have asked to be kept informed of developments. And from the info we've got, it doesn't feel by any means that he's going to be a top target, shall we say, but a physical forward, 10 goals in, let's be honest, a horrendous Ipswich team. I'm intrigued to see what you reckon for this one, if there is anything there, or if you can make the case at all.
So if we go for playing time, we will start there to look at, what's he done in terms of his physical capacity. He's obviously spent a lot of time with Ipswich in the Championship, and that's not a problem. Yeah. I'm just saying that the Championship is a good league for testing out whether you can do 2 games a week. It's quite a physical league, as you said, it's a little bit different. So these are where he's at. He was at Stoke and Preston in the Championship in the same season, so that's coming in just under 2,000 minutes. Yeah. Then he went to Hull and did 23-24 season and did over 2,000 minutes. And now he's in with Ipswich for this season. Okay, so he's clocking in 2,100 minutes. Not bad, he's made 28 starts, which is basically every game, I think, bar maybe one. So that's not a bad point to be. If we start looking at some of his other bits and bobs, his goals, his goals and assists. So we've got his expected assists. We top of that per 90. We've got 0.08 over his career, 0.07 expected. So that's key passes, not so much. So that's not really his game, should we say. If we look at what we've got for his goals, so expected goals, we've got 0.32. So yeah, if we combine those two metrics, as we will do up here, top of that per 90, non-penalty goals and expected assists is at 0.38 or 0.4, depending on which one you want to look at. So he is, fair to say, just below what our forwards do. I think that's fair. But he has nudged it. This season, you'd expect coming in a new league, new level, he might drop off. But actually, he's probably tipped up a little bit. Last season, 0.38. This season, 0.42. So, so that's a little bit of improvement. If we go back to our old favourite, wiper wheels and percentiles, people love that. Defensively, clearances and aerials, I think this probably goes back to the style that Ipswich are, right? The defending.
Yeah.
They started trying to play a bit of expansive, and then they tried to change a little bit. But so he's involved in a lot of clearances, and he's involved in a lot of areas as well, which could be defensively as well as attacking wise. So that's a bit more than you'd expect your forward to be involved in. Blocks, interception, tackles. I think from your prelude, it's probably fair to say that his defensive game isn't really not the same type should we say, is what we would expect a forward to do, because he's in the bottom percentage, below 13% of all of the area elements we would look for forward effectively. Yeah, we'd look for one of them to be in the green and the others to be in this kind of a grey colour here, which is in the 50th percentile. All right. If we look at what he does in between the boxes, so again, a forward, a 9. We're not looking for big numbers here, but there is an expectation when you play for a club like Liverpool that you can do a lot more than just that bit. Yeah. The front bit. So touches in the penalty box is a little bit concerning for a forward when it's only the 5th percentile.
Yeah.
Just put it out there, right? That's a little bit low if you're a forward, but again, opportunity, 3.23 touches in the penalty box is a little bit low. I'm not gonna lie to you. Progressive passes received, okay, that could be down to the way of switch play, opportunity, however he's receiving the ball, that kind of thing. If you look at his carries, that also suggesting to that he's not receiving a lot of progressive because he's a little bit deep and he's been asked to carry that ball.
Yeah.
Remember when we played about Anfield, he was one of the lone ones up there as an out ball, and he was asked to carry it for 20, 30, 40 yards and then hope that someone will come up and join up. Yeah, so that's 80% off a carry and take on. So that's decent for forward, but our forwards don't generally do you know what I mean? We have one of the forwards that does that, which is our left winger. The 9 isn't really asked to do that. All right. Pass completion, there's a standard at Liverpool, and that's about 80s, right?
Yeah.
For a forward, even forward, we'd accept low 70s, high 70s, but this is 62.9. That's 40th percentile even for forwards, so that's a low amount. Passes attempted, his body wasn't there. He's in the 1st percentile for passes.
Wow.
So he only does 11 passes a game. So again, this is probably going to be impacted by the way of switch play. Give him the ball, carry it, try and get a shot off. Right? That's generally it. If you can, someone can join in, okay, cool. But largely, you're going to be on your own. All right? That's that kind of suggestion here. If you look at his attacking metrics, opportunity will play a large part in this. Yeah. But non-penalty goals 41st percentile, so 0.33 a game. That's, as we looked at, that's quite low for a forward. Shots total 2.3 a game. Our subs can't do that. That's just about our subs to be fair, but it's still 40th percentile. So shot creating actions is 54th percentile. So it's not an amazing profile, but I think you always have to try and give him a bit of juice by the fact he's playing for I think that's probably fair. Comparing him to Nunes is probably the guy who's going out, and you would be looking for this guy maybe coming in. Not saying starter, but Nunes dwarfed him, and you would kind of expect that, right? Because Nunes is actually an international player. Delap isn't, or he's established sort of international. So even if you wanted to compare him with any of the other forwards we've got on our box, I mean, Cody Gakpo beats him. I haven't got Jota lined up, but just saying. So he's going to come in and some of that is that he spent a year nearly now with a team struggling, lot of ball opportunities to save. So not a lot to like, but I'm trying to give him a bit of an out by saying it could be because of X, right? This is a typical Ipswich game. This is kind of what I was talking about. Jeez. He's not really well connected. It's just, I mean, this was against United, so they actually had a lot of ball. But he's not that well connected. Do you know what I mean? He's not involved in play that much. If you look at his pass, he's received the pass every so often in the first half, less so in the second. It's in patches. This is involved in very low pass change. And Gay goes with that. Give the ball, carry it, try and do something. All right, not keep it and let's get up with you and get around and play. It's a little bit different. He was involved in one progressive pass in the left half space, but he's not involved in any other place. So and to be fair to context, Ipswich did have a lot of ball in those areas. So that's not an opportunity thing. He just wasn't involved. He just wasn't involved. All right. So we look at some of the threat. What did he help? Did he help anything defensively? So he lost 67% of the threat that was coming out. I say 1 he won. 67% of the threat proposing.
Yeah.
Again, our forwards will be looking a bit higher than that. Did he create any threat in the areas in which he was playing? 5%, right? So again, our forwards are massively different, but still, that's quite low. If we look at off the ball, 1%, like, sort of 4%, it's not a great defensive action map for him. That's just not. This is the area he would be operating in. That's 3% of the team's defensive actions. So we know that our forwards, even Nunes this season, can't knock him, has done his work off the ball this year. So Delap's not doing that either. I won't look at the XG. He was involved in a little bit of XG and had shots wide, which again, we don't ask our forwards to do. We ask our forwards to shoot in between the posts.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's not a profile I'd be signing up for, but it's certainly a different option. And maybe when they scout him, he's got some bits that I think, okay, in a better side with more opportunity, he can do that. But I haven't got any physical data because he's in the Premier League. So I couldn't tell you how quick he is or slow he is. But 60% pass rate in this game is better than his average, but it's not near where we would expect a forward to be. All right, and the duels, 42% duel rate. We'd probably expect our forwards to be giving it a little bit better than that, to be honest with you. So I think overall, not for me, this one, I'm afraid, Dave. Not for me.
In the essence of it, and from details that we obviously got from analysts and reaching out to people, that the big talent Delap has is the ability to carry the ball, but also to receive it with his back to goal. Big frame, huge, strong forward. And in fact, quite a lot of people have likened him to not the same player by any means, don't get me wrong, but Didier Drogba. With that ability back to goal, there's potential. And I know it's a big reach to get there for people. Jump on me for that. Is it fair to say, though, Bart, even if you think of like a Drogba type forward, that just isn't our game? We've had like an Andy Carroll and people like that historically. We don't play with that big target man, really, do we?
No, I think that's a big stretch for. When we talk about a systematic change in the way we build and the way we create chances. If you were going to go to a Drogba style forward, that's a huge change. That's a fundamental change to the way we play football. We don't play that way. We play with our players on the half turn, either running into space or dropping deep, flicking and playing around. So players running in behind. We have third man runs. We often have players in hot zones to fall back into areas. There's not really a point in our play where we play it up to the big man or the forward, he holds it, turns, brings it in, or we're not really a crossing side where Drogba also thrive for the ball to come across and aerially or anything else. So that doesn't sound like a type of forward that we would currently use in our build. And even if we were going to tweak the way we build, because we haven't got Trent or anyone else, that's a really big tweak. That's a huge change, and it would require recruitment in other areas, I think, for that to work personally.
It's one of those people, we always try and look at possible ways. We talk about other data, but I think in simple terms, if Liam Delap even comes close to being linked with a serious move to Liverpool, me and Bart's will be stumped or think he's got nudes on someone. So we'll see what develops with that one. And mismap there, put in I'd love Ekatike. So would I, because Bart struggles to pronounce him. But also mismap, that was about 5 episodes ago, and we are currently on TMM 19 here. So Liam Delap, I'm afraid, for fans, a red cross near that name. Now this one, Bart, I'll let you brace yourself a bit, because I know when I sent you the name Mohamed Amoura, at first you were like, who, what it was about. And I held back a bit of info from you. And I know I drip fed it to you a little bit because I wanted you to build your own picture. Is it fair to say, just as a brief to go into this one, especially from a stats element, there's stuff to like with this one, isn't there?
100%. 100%. There's not a lot, right? I'm not going to lie to you. It's more complete here than there is others, right? But because he's not done that. He's done. See, when you go into a lower league, people will know that. When you go into like, unfortunately, Portugal, Swiss, Belgium, the data is really hard to get by. So it's hard to judge unless you're at a club and you can buy it. But since he's been in the better league, there is a lot to like with this guy, I think. Physically, we're lucky because he plays in the Bundesliga. We've got some physical data as well to look at it. So, I think there's, when you sent it to me, I was like, okay, well, first of all, I thought I typed in the wrong name because you just put Mo, and I was like, what's this? And then I was like, tell what you're talking about. But no, it was worth rushing this through to get it ready for tonight, definitely.
Well, without further ado then, Barts, for the stats, for the analysis, the stage is yours, my mate.
So, looking at playing time, as we always do, and that is one thing you can probably get from most leagues. It's just a standard thing. Did he play? Did he not? Right?
Yeah.
So, just checking we've got equal years. Yeah, we have. So, when he first went on the scene, that's just under 1,000 minutes. Then he played a full season in Switzerland. He was 31 starts, 1,000 minutes. So he probably came off a lot as a kid, which is absolutely fine. That's managing his minutes. Then 23-24, he moved clubs. So he started in the Swiss League and then went to join Union in the Belgian Pro League. So he ended up with his biggest jump, which is not that bad actually. He went from 1,000, he then clocked up to about 1,500. So that's a staged approach in his development. This season at Wolfsburg, he's made 24 starts, which is more than last year. So he's been built up nicely. Minutes per start has gone up 22 from 62, and he's just under 2,000 minutes. So they have taken care of this kid and developed him through his minutes, which is nice to see. He's also gone from being somebody who it's a bit when you play as a kid, often you get thrown on. So that's a 0.33. So that's them losing when he comes on more often. Then he had a season where he was adding value to the team. And then he had a season where he went back the way. All right. Since he's made the move to Union and then gone to the Bundesliga, he's been a positive element to that team's performance when he's played. So that is good to see. The other stuff is going to be difficult to do a trend analysis on because we've only got the League of Germany to really go anything on. Yeah. But if we do that, which I think we should, he's expected assists for a kid. I said a kid, really. 0.14 per 90, 0.28, 0.21 sort of thing for his others. He's got progressive passes of about 1 a game. Key passes just over 1 a game. So not too bad. If we look at combining those into what he does, so expect XG and expected assists 0.4, 0.48, depending on what you want to look at, putting in threat or actual assist. That's just below our levels, to be fair. We look at 0.66, right? 0.60. Yeah. He's in at 0.5. I seem to remember a couple of the lads we were looking at the Premier League, Samayo and Kuna weren't too far off that level. Keith Gittins as well was in around the 0.5. So, it's one season. I can't tell you a trend because it's not there. But from that season, from those minutes, there is a lot. There's some science there that's promising, to be honest with you. They would have far more data than me on that, but that's what they get paid for, to be frank. And there does seem to be something there. His pass completion has improved over the games as well. So there's some things to like. If we get into our usual place, though, right, so this guy, we're going to profile him as a forward. Okay, technically. He has 2 profiles, which we know the club like. We like it's a Jota type move or it's a Cody type move, right? Yeah, they both play the wings and up front. We're going to look at him as a forward. Yeah, forwards. Now, as we just looked at Delap and said that guy doesn't really defend the way we want, this guy might be doing too much. I mean, we've got no aerials, okay. Clearances, probably a little bit higher for us, but blocks, interceptions and tackles, 98th, 93rd and 84th percentile. Sounds like he's doing exactly what we want. So, I'm just saying, this is looking, I like this for defence. It shows you that he has an understanding of what he needs to do This is just a forward stab as well, so it's literally when he's played up front, blocking passing lanes, making interceptions. The tackles is probably a little bit high for us, but you shouldn't need to commit. You should do it for the other ways. But the other two methods are not 90th percentile plus. So that's really good start for us in terms of what we ask our forwards to do. Okay. And in between the boxes, so when he has to drop in, help out, or when we play on the break from a corner or something, progressive passes received, that's good. Stays high, receives the ball successfully, 96th percentile. 9 a game. 9 a game you receive.
Yeah.
Touches in the penalty box, still be a little bit low. All right. Maybe him and Delap need to go look at how forwards actually play up front. Maybe, I'm not sure, but 46th percentile is a little bit low. Take-ons and carries, 90th and 86th percentile respectively. That's really good. So he carries the ball 93rd, so he's taking it from deep and moving it up 20% closer to the goal. Really good. Passes. He's also making progressive passes. So whereas the lad did carry it, to be fair to him, did really do a lot with it. This lad is getting it, making a pass. He's got 70% pass rate, which is in and around what our forwards typically do on a game. We would like it to be higher, but that's what it is. But then attempted, he's 91st% of passes attempted. Brilliant. So he's actually taken that pass on. All right. So we can work on that accuracy a little bit. And again, that will be quality of player he's playing with, situation, is he being asked to play risky passes, those kind of things. All right. What's he doing in the box though? So non-penalty goals, okay, that's a little bit low. I think you said he played 50-50 of his games out wide.
Yeah, two thirds up top and a third on the left wing. Right. So switching,
The switching. So if you're going to buy a 9, you kind of want it to be a little bit higher, to be honest with you. Shots, that's a little bit low, 2.6. We want to be over that 3 mark. Then 3.5 would be ideal. Assists, brilliant. 97% are great. He's part of a unit, phenomenal. So shot creating actions, 77th. Now a lot of that, 77%, so that's 2.8 a game. A lot of that we then to the assist he create. So this is good. All right. If we look at comparing him with Jota, normally when we do these, right, with a name that you don't really know,
miles away.
They're miles away, right? I mean, we've been there, we've gone, whoa, what's going on there? But this is actually Jota's the red, just for people who can't see on the screen. And Jota is ahead of him for non-penalty XG, fair enough. And shot correct actions just. And he's also non-penalty goals, and so he's ahead of that. But other than that, I don't know about you, but it looks fairly close. That's within a percentile of most of them. Actually, defensively, Amoura actually outperforms him. So and he's receiving more passes, he's got more touches, he's got more take-ons, and he's got passes attempted. Yes, Jota has had a bad year, but still a good sign, I would suggest. If we look at, I've just seen if I had Nunes. Well, if you were saying that he's going to come in for Nunes and he's going to go, then again, it probably outperforms Nunes, for being honest. So, there is a lot to like on that. I did run a quick little viz on him to try and have a look. He's playing up front in these games, which is where you want him to play. He's also quite well linked. Yeah, it's a bit rather than the Delap, then we are well linked here. They do build slightly differently, so our forwards would be up, our wingers would be up here, and the 9 would be in here. So this would be a different change, definitely in the way they're built. But he seems to have the percentiles to say that he could adapt to that. He's involved in play. Yeah, that's pretty. But second up, particularly, he's pass or a touch or both every minute. He's involved in chains up to 10, and unlike the lap, he's also got progressive passes involved in those in all 3 phases, in most phases of the game, and left half space, right half space, and zone 14. Not the volume we'd want, but still, he's involved. If you look at him in terms of threat, so what did he do off the ball? So he defended 71% of the threat, approached him from the forward. Not bad. And then what did he do? So in terms of attacking, threat is coming from deep from them. So potentially that's probably an area he needs to work on. But then you can level that our players. like Jota and Nunes don't create a lot of threat. All right, they rely on our building, our development through the left and the right. So I think it's a little bit unfair to maybe call him out on that. Off the ball though, he is involved in a fair amount of defensive actions, to be fair to you, but then there's not a large volume from the team in this game. So XG wasn't involved in a lot in this game, took his shots dead central. So yeah, overall, I think there is a lot to like in this game for him. Pass success in this game is only 80%. So yeah. I can see for a kid that profiles like that could be a smart bit of business, to be honest with you, if the price is right.
This is the time when I give you the other half of the picture, and it's probably important to do this, Bart, because the natural thing which you said there, and I get, is someone's going to quote sample size, and it's not too big. We understand that one year in Wolfsburg, so you can put that in that column. 100% agree. Liverpool have apparently, for our info, been watching this guy, and he only happened to score a hat-trick last night for Algeria. So it's a good time to sort of keep yourself in the news or in their thoughts, recency bias and all that. 18 goal contributions in the Bundesliga, 10 goals, 8 assists. The headline figures are decent. For those who can't see it on the screen as well, his speed is about 35.6. Now, as Bart's has used the phrase before, that is rapid. 36 is like top level sprinter. That's what we're talking. So this guy is nippy at best, fast. There's no two ways about it. He can play striker. He can play left wing. But the other bit of detail that we've got around Amoura, because he's on loan from Union SG, as you said, a big data club, a big data club. That's their structure and their style. He's on loan to Wolfsburg. Now, Wolfsburg have apparently an option for about 22 million euros. That's the talk. And he has 2 years left to go on his Union SG contract from this summer. So he's in that 2-year period. The other thing I wanted to give you, Bart, is from analysis, and we've done a bit of digging, that just data you can get as well. Right-footed plays on the left wing and up front quite a bit, but 30% of his finishes, or around 30%, are with his left foot. And he's even got a few headed finishes, as you can see on the, if you want to look people on the Bundesliga website, he's got a few headed goals as well. That's stacking up, Bart, with a price point suggested of 25 million quid if Liverpool wanted to do it. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking this is a very early Edwards signing. Like this is a lot of deep data dive. This is a lot of Ian Graham and Edwards. Well, Ian Graham used to do the data analysis and give it to Edwards. Edwards would go and look at the video and confirm that.
Yeah.
This looks exactly like that playbook. Like you would, the data clearly they've got is far superior to what we can get. But even the data we've got is looking like there's some really promising elements there for him being that young. Yes, sample size is small, but they would have a larger sample size because they will have the other data. So this looks like young, is in that price bracket he likes. He's playing internationally. The only annoying thing is that's there's international tournaments will come into play with where he's playing. Yeah. Anyway, bye. He's performing well. He's moved from one league to another and performed as he's gone through. So he's not stagnated, if you like. You know what I mean? So, because if you go up a level, sometimes a player has got that's my level, and I feel right. So he's clearly doing well. The Buddy data there, physically, that's a quick player. I mean, I'm not knocking that about, but he doesn't have a large distance, so I'm not going to lie to you. So that's 240k in 24 stars. So yeah, it's okay, but it's not a huge distance, should we say? He tends to run 16.5, which is up there with some of the ones we have seen. So yeah, it takes penalties, 100% record in that. They've got aerial duels 118. They don't really put how many he's competing with, but I think there's a lot to like in that, and it does look like a very good data signing, a bit like the Greek lad we looked at.
Yeah. It's one of those, and people will look and say, I don't know. People will say he's high because I think he's 5'6", 5'7", if you read it there. So that will maybe come into the mix as well. Do you reckon?
But he's a forward. Like, Jota's not tall. Mo's not tall. I mean, they're not short, please. They're not my height, but they're not tall. I think your midfielders and your centre halves and the rest of it, that's important to be high. All you would need to do is, because some of our forwards come in and make the shields in our zone of defending, you just have to make sure that you have another one that can come and do that. So and that's what we do. And when Jota's playing, he's not back defending. It's always put in a role that doesn't need the height. You know what I mean? So we always move that around. So it's something to consider. But I don't think they wouldn't sign him for his height.
So there you go, ladies and gents. And we've got to build this because everyone wants sexy names. And I get the Isaac, I get the Alvarez leagues. I completely get those. We all want those players at Anfield. No one's pretending any different if we can get them. But if we're going to bring back this team headed up by Michael Edwards, smart database signings are also what you want to see. You've got to make the next generation, as it were. So, Mohamed Amoura, keep him on your list. The next one and final one, Bart. I might be wrong. I think there'll be a bit of excitement about this. Oh, look who's joined us. Sam Maguire as well. Talk about
it's an honour, Sam.
Martim Fernandes, Portuguese, Porto right back. Now, this is a name that it annoys me when I have to say this because Sam obviously floated it for those who read his works or his Patron, etc. So shout out to Sam there. He put his name on and people went, naturally, like us, who the hell's Martim Fernandes? Yeah. And then from two things, Bart. Number one, digging around. There is interest in this, which is also annoying because Sam Maguire can be a smug git for those ones who know this type of thing. So, there seems to be weight in that. And the second thing, Bart, we had that question. It's fair to say before we get into this fully, we're like, who is Martim Fernandes? By the way, we changed that to who is Martim Fernandes, by the way, didn't we? Yeah,
it's another one. This could be a smart data signing, I have to say. And the more we do these, like we looked at Reed last episode, didn't we?
Yeah.
It was another one. Not a lot of data on the surface, but little shoots here and there. You think, there's a bit more on that. There's a bit more on that. You could understand that. And this is the idea. I mean, first of all, it always depresses me when I see these kids being born past 2000. But anyway, we look at minutes played, which is right down the bottom, playing time. So he has played, made 4 starts in his first season, age 17, only 256 minutes. So, and remember I said about the impact on the team. It was obviously a kid coming on minimal minutes and a negative effect on performance. If you look at him, though, playing for Porto in Europa League and the league, so he is now, that's this season, he's made 5 starts in Europa League and 18 in the league. So he now has a combined minutes of just short of 1,500, probably if you round that up, 1,500, which is a good progression again from 250, probably a little bit over the threshold, but okay, not a problem. And he's also, minutes per start, he's actually pretty much banging the same as he was in his first season. So 64 first season. This season, Europa League, he's played 62 minutes per start. And then in the league, he's played 65 minutes per start. So he doesn't finish many games, comes off. Absolutely fine for a kid to be doing that, right? That's smart. And he's actually now at a point where he's adding to the performance of the team he's in. So that is a good position to be in as a youngster. We go forward. Obviously, this is going to suffer from the same things because there's not a lot of data available from Portugal, unless you're a club, you get some other insight. That's the data. But if you look at what he's done in Europa League, we go up to the top shot, goal creating action. Europa League, 0.29. Okay, not too bad. We look at his passing. So he's got per 90, so he's played 5 games. So he's made 2.28 progressive, 2.29 progressive passes a game. Okay. This is good. This is looking okay.
Yeah.
285, so just under 3, final third. Key passes just under 2. So there's some good signs there, should we say, for a kid that young to making that type of pass.
Yeah.
We look at the combined. So total non-boot XG and XA 0.21, 0.21. So for a fullback, yeah, there's some promising elements there.
Yeah.
Like, to be fair, to what he's doing, limited minutes, only an hour. Yeah, there's some things to like on that. Yeah, so there's definitely some shoots there, I would say, to where he is. What does he do in terms of his passing? Because we sometimes look at where he favours. So if we look at his attempted passes in the Europa League per 90, he is not a bad mix between medium and short. So he's not afraid for the slightly longer. The longer ball, he's still doing 5-6 a game, which could be a switch. So there's a lot to like on that, I would suggest. Caveat, when I ran this, it's limited data, so please take that into mind. But he does seem to be taking up some good positions, which is okay. He's involved in the U, which is what we want for a forward.
Yeah.
Okay. Involved, first half not a lot, but second half probably 2 or 3 every minute, which is what you want. And he's also involved in lower chains. That could be part of his game. And he's not that involved in terms of our progressive passes. But, yeah, he's a kid. It'd be, sometimes you've got to take caveat where he is and what he's doing. So if you look at what he can do, though, defensively, he stopped 100% of the threat coming out. That's very good. Very good. The areas he's playing at in terms of creating threat, though, he's down this side. So that is some good. What's that? 12, 8, nearly 12% of the EP3 in his kind of area. So that's pleasing to see. He's involved in that. Off the ball, the channel which he would be involved in. Okay, similar to EPB actually, 12% making threat, and these are the boxes he'd be involved in. So there is 12, 13, just under 15% of the team's defensive actions are in his kind of area. So there's some good signs there, I would suggest.
Yeah.
XG, not really involved that much. But so overall, George 100%, pass success in this game 90%. So I would say there's more than some shoots of what he could be here. I'd always back your sources as well, and certainly if Sam's giving him a big up, then there's probably a good player to keep an eye on. Just sort of check his injuries, and he's missed. What's he missed? He's missed 8 games through injury, which isn't. They're only muscular, so that's not a major. Nothing majorly to be concerned with. I just thought I'd do that where we were looking. But no, certainly a player I think could be right in that wheelhouse of another dive. Now let's go and look at the video on him, and then let's make a decision. So intrigued to know what you've got on the fees and the rest of it.
It's interesting because, like you say, you're having a look at the data, and it is limited people the one we've got, but 6 foot, which is always important to say. Usually you want height because you need a bit of aerial for your fullbacks, for us especially the way we defend. But as you said, it struck me already that it was high 70s, maybe into the 80s for passing success, and that range of long, medium, and short. So he can switch it, he can really mix it up, and he's got 5 assists, as it shows there, and an XAG of 0.7. And it was interesting. I think he said, like, over on average, 1 chance or creating over, I think it was 1.7 or something like that per game as well. So there is a lot to like. He seems progressive. He seems to move the ball forward. We don't have his speed, before anyone asks that, but I would guess, and I may be wrong, but you don't tend to find many slow fullbacks playing in the Portuguese league, and the nature of getting 5 assists as well. So we don't have the exact stat, but you'd expect he's quick. For this part, for a kid that is making those passing metrics, I think you phrased it well, more than shoots. Porto. We've got a good relationship with Porto, and digging a bit on this, that all the way back to Gruidge, Julian Ward's involved. When Diaz came, we actually helped pay a bit of their debt because they were really struggling. We have a really good relationship. Julian Ward, fluent in Portuguese, so there's connections there. We know about that as well. If the price point was around, as we're being told, the 20 to 25 million mark, what would you say?
I think that's a very interesting proposition. I think they'd probably structure it in a way that would make that even cheaper for us, to be honest with you. Because, as you said, we've got a good relationship with them. So, yeah, he's another one. I've said this on so many pods already, but like, I think there's an opportunity this summer to buy a data-proven young prospect that could be amazing, like Hato. And I keep going back to that kid. I just think there's an opportunity to get a couple of these players in at this age profile with the green shoots from the public data, let alone the data they've got. Yeah. And yes, it might look on the front of it, wow, that's going to be a lot of money, but if you give him the right minutes, so we progress his minutes up from 1,500 now, we give him another 1,500 but in the Premier League, right? Notch up a little bit. Then you start building him. It might be a season long time, but he could be an absolute stalwart for the side for years to come, right?
Yeah.
Even if he isn't, you can flip him, right? So, Vandenberg, how much should we sell him for in the end?
Yeah,
20 million this summer? 25 million, we bought him for less than 5. Right? So what I'm saying to you, they analyse that kid, that youngster, and yes, he didn't go on to become a star for Liverpool Football Club, but he became a Premier League centre half, or he made money in it. And what I'm saying here, this has got some really nice stuff, some really little bits where you think, okay, that could be really exciting, and the scouts clearly like him. And as I said, there's a couple of other profiles that we've looked at and gone, there's some stuff in there. I just think this summer, the more you see links like this, you think, okay, are we going to do one of those where we build in a lot of these kids coming in as a not complete reset, because I don't quite agree with that, and then with the view that these will become the team for 25-26 maybe, or 26-27, the latter end of next season. So yeah, I think for that price point, if they get it down, as I've said with others that we've already mentioned, I think that's worth a punt personally. I think the data is there. I think there's bits enough there for me, and I know that I have better data than me to do that. The same for the previous ladder. I think those two for less than £50 million. I think you could be looking back on a couple of years and going, wow, what a deal they were.
And people will look at that one because we talked about Reed, wasn't it, at Feyenoord the other day? When we're stacking it, and I had a scan back at the numbers, and this is not to be disparaging because they're both young kids, different leagues, but I think it's fair to say Fernandes probably looks a little bit ahead of Reed in what we're looking for. Do you think?
Yeah. I think the attacking output, which is limited, right? This is Europa League. I can't stress enough that I normally wouldn't be going, kind of losing my marbles over him, but that there's some decent XG and XA that for a kid in the Europa League, that's not bad, right? I can't tell you that's a trend because there's not enough data there. But as a one-off little snapshot, that's a better from memory than the Reed kid, right? And we also know that Portuguese players generally do okay if they're coming over here. I'd have to look up the exact conversion rate, but I think it's better than Eredivisie. Yeah. So there's a conversion in terms of coming over, and the metrics don't fall off that much. So yeah, I just had a quick look to see if I could find some threat on him, but unfortunately, our old favourite Marco doesn't do Portugal either. So there you go.
There we go. But a young right back that does around currently 1,500 minutes could be very valuable, especially mixed up with Conor Bradley. And we'll have to see how that develops. But yeah, Martim Fernandes, keep him high on your watch list. Mohamed Amoura, if we're going to make stats-based decisions, keep him high on the list as well. There's a lot to like. People will shout sample size at both, but there may be, as Bart calls it, a summer of a few punts it wouldn't be sad to see. That being said, Liam Delap, forget it, rather than anything else. We can analyse it all day, but there's nothing we're seeing there that would really make sense. But yeah, just to be clear, people, Mohamed Amoura, probably more, as Bart says, more than a few shoots there for Martin Fernandes, might well be the one to keep an eye on from these three. All it leaves me to say, as ever, is Bart for the analysis, breaking it down, and the fact that I gave you some proper stats-based signings to analyse. Thank you very much.
No worries, anytime.
And ladies and gents, that was another Transfer Market Metrics for Anfield.